Hello, dear Imani.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Dear Imani. I'm your host, Imani, obviously. My voice is a little bit out. Like last week I said this when I was recording at home, and it's not much better. But it's kind of sexy because it's raspy, so we're just going to have to bear with me. Last week I also said that we were going to be celebrating Pride. We're always celebrating Pride, okay? But like it's Pride month, so we're really going to be celebrating it this episode. And I have a beautiful guest with me that I'm going to introduce. I wanted to bring this guest because I've known her for honestly 10 years now, which is insane to think about. But she is a former Miss Kansas USA content creator, fitness instructor, performer, and she's my good friend, Alyssa Klinzing. Yay! Oh, the hand claps. Yay! Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. So excited
Welcome
to be here.
studio.
I know the studio is beautiful.
Yes.
It has your energy. I love it.
Pink.
I love it.
That's
Pink,
my favorite
everything.
color.
It's boss bitch energy.
Yes.
Love
Yeah.
it.
100%
yes.
bad bitch.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, this episode we're gonna talk about pageantry because that's how we met, came about
10 years
about
ago.
Pride.
Too,
10
that's
years ago.
literally
Which is-
insane. We were actually children.
Literally children
Babies.
walking around in like little bikinis because that was before
That was.
teens did activewear. So we
Yeah.
did swimsuit
We
competition.
were out there in our bikinis in Atlantis.
In the Bahamas.
In the Bahamas.
in the
Yes.
Bahamas.
Yes.
And what's so funny too is that was when Donald Trump owned the pageant.
Yeah.
LOL. Like I think about that, I'm like,
I have a picture with him from Miss USA that year. I showed my girlfriend the other day and she almost like shit her pants.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna
Yeah.
say. I was like, did you get a picture with him? Because I didn't. I went to
I
the party,
do.
but I didn't get a picture.
I do have a picture.
Oh my God. Did you ever post it?
I did post it, and then when he ran for president, like one day, my notifications were like insane, and I get on Instagram, and people were just roasting me, so I deleted it.
Oh,
But it was like
okay.
from 2013.
Yeah.
Like, this was years and years in between.
Yeah. But you haven't
I-
posted it since, like
No.
LOL throwback. Oh, okay. That's why I always wish I had a picture because I was like, this is just so crazy.
It's when you really
Yeah.
think about it.
And I talked about this on the podcast before,
Yeah.
but I remember being like a fangirl because I was like, oh my God, it's Trump. And
I
then
don't
now I'm
think I
looking
was
back, I'm like,
ever a fangirl
ah.
about it. I was nervous. I remember I went up to him. I don't remember her name, but it was with the Miss Pennsylvania team that year because we were both on like either side of him, and like
Yeah.
she cropped me
Oh,
out.
that was
I cropped
Ebony.
her out. Yes,
Ebony.
yes.
Yeah, that's
We like cropped each other out, so we had like the same photo. But it
Yeah.
was, it
Oh
was
my
funny.
God. Yeah, that's Ebony.
Had
still
I
talk
not
to her.
had her with me, I probably wouldn't have had the balls to go.
Yeah,
I would've been like,
yeah. That is so
Oh, no.
funny. But yeah, so we met each other at Miss Teen USA 10 years ago. She was Miss Kansas Teen USA 2013.
Mhm.
That's when I was Miss Washington Teen USA 2013. It was in the Bahamas.
Yes.
And then what brought us kind of like back together was, well, before that, how old were you at Miss Teen USA?
I was 14.
Yeah, you
I
were
was-
the youngest
I was a
contestant.
baby.
Yeah,
I was
I
a
think you were
baby.
like
I
the
was-
youngest one.
Yeah.
Because I was 17. I remember when you said you were 14, I was like, she's so much younger than
I
all of us.
know.
But then, as you get older, like
Mhm.
we're years apart still, obviously, but now it just seems the same.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
And it's just like crazy to think of how we met and like how our lives have been so intertwined.
Yeah.
For 10
it's-
years.
You were coming from Kansas to California,
Yeah.
and then we work at the same place. So, and that's how we
Yes.
kind of like came back together because we
Mhm.
both ended up working at Disney and doing the same
Mhm.
show.
I remember when you got hired and I was like watching your social media and I was like,
Mhm.
oh my God, like that's a dream for me. Like
Yeah.
I want to go work with Imani. And I just remember like going to the audition the first time. I'm like, oh my God, I want this so bad. And like Imani's done it, so I can do it. Like, let's go.
Yes. And you did it.
I did it.
Slay.
Hey,
And
we
now
here.
you can't even tell we both work there because we don't even post it. But but we be there, doing our
We do
thing.
be there.
We do be there.
We clock in. Yeah.
So what made you move to California?
I wanted to work for Disney.
Oh,
for
okay, that was, like, the goal, yeah.
That was like the main goal. I actually almost moved to Florida because it
Mm.
was either Disneyland or Disney World. And I applied for colleges and the ones in Florida didn't give me any scholarship and the ones in California did. So I just said, sweet, we're going to pack it up. We're going to move to California. And I got hired off my first audition. I went to a Disney.
Oh, yeah.
I had lived here for like a week. And went to
Yeah.
an audition for Electrical Parade. Hired immediately.
Electrical Parade. Oh,
Mhm. What a relic.
what a time.
What a relic.
Yeah. Okay. And then what shows have you done?
I did Electrical Parade, Soundsational, Christmas Fantasy, Paint the Night. I think that's it.
Okay.
Parade side. at
Yeah.
least, yeah.
Then
Mhm.
everything else we don't talk about.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
We don't
Okay.
talk about her.
And then when you moved here, so you had your goal of working at Disney. You
Yes.
did that. And then you
Mhm.
also were modeling too.
I
at
was
the same
modeling
time.
for a little bit. I went to school. I stopped modeling because with Disney, school, and modeling, like, it was way too much. And I went to school in Whittier, so I would, like, get in my car in between my classes, and I would drive to downtown LA, do my castings, and then I'd sit in traffic going back. I'd always be late to my classes. I was, like, starting to fail some classes, so, like, something had to give. So
Yeah.
I stopped modeling because it was just too much. And, yeah, I continued with Disney. I ended up graduating school a year early, which was sweet, and then the pandemic hit, so
Yeah. Oh, and we all know how that went. So
we all know how that went, yeah.
Where'd you go to school?
Whittier College.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. And was
Mhm.
your major
Political
political
science.
science? Yeah, that's what I
Yes.
thought.
Yeah.
Okay. I had that in my notes. I was like, political science.
I'm a political science girl,
Yes,
yeah.
she is a smart gal. Okay. All right. So then I got to see you become Miss Kansas USA. And that was in 2019.
Yes.
And I remember because that's when I think we were in the same show at that point. So you were
Yes.
preparing for that.
Mhm.
And then she went on to Miss USA and made top 10, which is
Which
iconic.
was super fun.
Super cool.
Mhm.
And your dress is iconic, at least to me. I'm like, I just remember
love that
the velvet
dress.
black, stunning. And then when I went to go shop for my Miss USA dress, they had dupe versions.
Yeah, they
yours.
really did. They had so many dupes of that dress. I go on Pinterest now, and if I like type in like sexy black dress on Pinterest, like photos of myself at Miss USA come up in my dress. People like still to this day trying to scam people
Yeah,
selling that dress.
insane.
Yeah.
It's like
Don't it's not real. If you see it on
Yeah,
the internet,
yeah. Only
it's probably
Miss
not
Kansas
real.
USA 2019. That
Mhm.
is who wore the dress.
Yes, who
Yeah.
wore the dress.
So I did see that. So tell me about your journey of competing in pageants. Why'd you start?
God, I was getting bullied in like middle school, elementary school because I just like wasn't good at anything.
Yeah.
Period. I tried out for the dance team in middle school and I didn't make it.
Yeah.
So then I was like,
I need something.
I need something. I tried soccer. I tried track. I went to one track meet practice rather, and they said to warm up with a mile, and I was like, I thought that was the main event.
Yeah.
What are we warming up for? Like, I was so
Right.
confused. I hid under the bleachers and I never went back, and they sent me a participation medal. But
Yep.
essentially that was it. I tried dance, I tried cheer, I tried everything under the sun. I wasn't good at anything. And then I was at a dance competition and there was a pageant advertising, and you'll get a kicker out of this. It was NAM.
Yes.
It was
NAM.
And they were advertising for a pageant, and we just went up to the booth, my mom and I, and it was like, oh, do you want to try this? It's like, yeah, sure. I don't have anything else to lose.
Yeah.
So I just entered. I was 12 or 13 when I did my first pageant. It was NAM.
Yeah.
And didn't win, but there was 90 girls in my division and I made the top 12.
Yeah, that's a lot of girls.
So I was like,
I'm pretty good.
I might be good at this.
Yeah.
Like little brace face me.
Yeah.
My mom did my hair and makeup. Like I looked an actual mess. And I just was like, dang, I think I got bit by a bug or something. And then I just kept doing it.
Yeah.
And then I did Kansas Teen USA. I didn't win my first time. I went back. I did a second time. That's when I won. I just always knew I wanted to go to Miss USA. So it was like a fight till I got there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We did it.
Yep.
We did it. We finished the goal.
We did.
So we're gonna just jump right into it.
Let's go.
So that was like a little background, and there's a lot more layers to her. But overall, what we're here to talk about too is she's the L to the LGBT.
Hey.
So, period.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I got that from your caption. So I went back in time, and when
Period.
you posted, when you first came out,
Mhm.
it was on May 23rd, right? 2021.
Yep.
Yep. And I remember
Big cheesin'.
you said what?
I said I'm big cheesin'.
You're big
like,
cheesin'.
Yeah, like I like love just remembering like my coming out journey.
Yeah,
It's,
and
like,
that's
so
what I was
fun.
gonna start with. Like, what did that day feel like for you? Because I remember you posted, actually screenshot our conversation too. You posted like in March on your close friends, like a girlfriend, and I was like, is this your girlfriend? I was like, is this your girlfriend? And you're like, yes, new. And I was like, ah. And then I went on to, I was like, I had been asking questions because I was made for a podcast. And my next part was, how did you know? When did you start liking girls? When did you, like, I was immediately asking questions, and I was like, I was reading it today, and I was like, damn, girl, relax. We were after all these questions.
Funny. We were just prefacing.
Yes, exactly. So what was that day like for you?
That day, I will remember it for the rest of my life. I was in West Hollywood. I was with who's now an ex-girlfriend of mine. But she was super supportive when I was coming out. I was really scared to post it. I was just like afraid of getting harassed. And as soon as I posted, I was like ready to attack the bullies. Like I was on my phone refreshing every 2 seconds, ready to like combat people in the comments. And she took my phone away from me and just like put it in her bag and was like Like, we're just going to enjoy this moment together. Like, we were with all our friends. My cousin was there. So we walked from the Abbey down to Rocco's and we were taking pictures on the rainbow sidewalk. And then I'm like walking past Rocco's and I'm like, I recognize that dog. I recognize that person. It was my cousin. They had like surprised me. They were all down there because they knew I was taking pictures. They knew I wanted to post that day. And so it was just like surrounded by so many people that loved me. And then outfit was killing it. I was out there in West Hollywood. People were stopping me. I had like these really sick rainbow boots on.
Yeah.
And it just was like one of the happiest days. One of the most wholesome, just like, wow, I get to be out in me and everyone is super accepting and happy. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so exciting. Good for you. I know you're just cheesing and
I
blushing
know.
thinking
Oh my God,
about
I
it.
get like so cheesy when I like think about just my journey and coming out. It feels like I've been out for like my entire life, yet at the same time, it feels like I was closeted for the majority of my life, which was actually the case.
Yeah. How
But
did the comments end up being, since you were prepared to like?
I was prepared
Yeah.
to like fight people, but I was honestly taken aback by how kind people were, how accepting people were. One of the biggest reasons why I never came out while I was competing or while I was a title holder is because I was afraid of people like seeing me and then being like, that's the gay girl. Like, I didn't want my entire presence in a room to be immediately, oh, like, that's the lesbian, that's the gay girl, or make people uncomfortable or like whatever it was going to be. I had so much at that point in my life where I had accomplished and like so many things I was working on and so many charities I was working with. I wanted like my accomplishments to speak for themselves, not my sexuality.
Yeah.
So I was really afraid when I came out that it was just going to be a lot of negativity. And when it wasn't, it made me immediately regret all of that time that I could have been out. I could have been representing the community. But at the same time, it wasn't ready. So
yeah, and everything
it
happens
all
for a
happened
reason,
in the right
totally.
timing. Yeah.
And I feel like too, a lot of times people just are, one, afraid of the judgment, but then two, like my friends that have come out, they say they're afraid of a little bit like what it is like to be with the same sex in general, of like how to not like operate the relationship, but like I feel like, okay, I know
Big
how to
mood.
be with a man, even if I'm talking about like sex.
Yeah.
But then like with a woman, I feel like if
was
that was me, I'd
terrified.
be like, I don't know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? So it's like there's
No,
a
that was
lot
actually me. I remember sitting in my bedroom with my best friend. This was like over COVID. And I looked at her with like tears in my eyes. And I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm 12 years old again, like experiencing things for the very first time. I have no experience. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't know how to flirt with a girl. I don't know how to talk to a girl. And I was just bawling my eyes out. I'm like, what am I gonna do? And this is after Miss USA. This is after like so many monumental things in my life had already taken place. And I'm like, great, now I feel like I'm starting over. And she just looked at me and she was just like, I think you just like have to be yourself and then like talk like how you would want to be talked to. And I was like, okay, but that's like so much easier said than done. Like, what the hell?
Totally.
Like, once you're actually in it, oh my God, I remember my first date with a girl. Like, I had to take a gummy. Like, I was so scared.
Yeah.
I was sweating profusely, like, couldn't formulate even a sentence. Terrified.
I would be freaking out.
I was freaking out.
Yeah.
And because like you want to be like cool and nonchalant and stuff, but
And be good at
everything. You have to be good at everything. And yeah, when you get in that scenario where you're like, wow, I've known one thing my entire life, and now here we are turning a page, and it's a new chapter, and it's entirely different, like totally different ballgame.
And it can be intimidating, I'm sure, because you might be dating women that have been out for a long time, so they've had girlfriends, and then you're experiencing all this for the very first time, which is like,
I've definitely had intimidating moments. I've had really empowering moments, like all of the above. Like I've felt all of the feelings.
Yeah, and kind of going back to like how you were a little nervous for the comments because your fans, I call them fans, your fan base was coming from, you know, the pageant world and like modeling and all of that, which is a little bit different. And I feel like it's a little bit more behind compared to like some of
society, I do feel like it is behind. However, I think there are way more closeted or even just like curious or questioning pageant girls and models.
Oh yeah.
Than like anybody has any idea.
Yeah.
Of.
Totally.
I got a DM from someone a couple of weeks ago at the beginning of Pride who won't like disclose who she is, but somebody notable in the pageant community who was like thanking me for being out and being a representative and how I'm helping her with her journey as well. And like literal tears to my I
Yeah.
opened it while I was at Pride with my girlfriend, and I literally just started tearing up and crying, and
Wow.
I was just like, this is the kind of representation that I needed a decade ago
Yeah.
in order to be comfortable to come out. And
Yeah.
so when I did that shoot with, and we're like jumping all over the place now, but I did that shoot with Kat and Rachel, and it was like that image meant so much to me because had I seen that a decade ago, like so much would have been different for me.
Totally.
So, yeah.
Look at that representation, that inspiration for others. And that's really what it's all about too. So that's why it's awesome that you use your voice. You are super out loud with being a proud lesbian. Your caption on your bio, on your Instagram, your TikToks,
yes, literally everything.
Like everything.
Actually, that is so funny because what I feared in coming out,
it's the opposite now. That's what I was gonna say, because when you just mentioned that, I was like,
I'm just gay.
Yeah, but like, my personality said I'm gay, but it's such a big part of who you are, and like, you know.
I think there was like some internalized homophobia when I was grappling with, do I come out, do I not come out? I actually wanted to come out before the last time I competed, which was at Miss Earth USA. And my mother, my entire prep team, everyone was like, no, like maybe don't do that, or gave me XYZ reasons why I shouldn't do it. And I listened, and I really wish I wouldn't have, because I wish I could have had one experience where I was competing like out and fully as myself instead of just like hiding behind all these masks. But I let other people project how they were feeling about the situation onto me when it's just who I am.
Yeah.
It's just my life.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it.
And that's what was going to be my next question was, so your cousin was there and very supportive, but how was like the rest of your family or close peers to
so my friends, we'll start with my friends, who were literally the most supportive ever. And I remember telling one of my best friends, Lillian, we were sitting on a hammock in my backyard, COVID also era. And I just looked at her and I was like, yeah, like I like women. And she was like, oh, I knew that.
Oh.
I'm like, am I giving that energy? Like, thank God, fuck. But none of my friends were shocked, literally at all. They were like, yeah, like that checks out. That makes sense.
Okay.
Like nobody, I didn't shock a single friend.
Yeah.
My mom originally was pretty supportive, or so I thought. I came out to her as bi. And at that time, I wanted there to be some truth to it. Like, I didn't want to have to make my life harder than it needed to be. I didn't want to face discrimination. I didn't want to face homophobia. Like, if it could be easy, I wanted the easy route. And then as I continue to start to date men, like as I came out as bi, I was like, no.
You just were not hitting.
No, this is so bad. So originally she was on board. Once I got a girlfriend, all those tides changed. It was like a 180. I got kicked out of my house. We haven't had contact in 2 years. So it's been pretty difficult. But I've gone through an incredible like healing journey with other family members becoming like, you know, like blood is thicker than water is what they always say. But your family doesn't always have to be blood. And that's what I've learned.
100% true.
And the most beautiful part about my coming out journey is the fact that I brought my dad and I back together. Because my dad and I hadn't spoken since I was 18. And, you know, like I went on national television being very open about emotional abuse from my family growing up, from my father growing up. Both of my parents were emotionally abusive. And I didn't really think that I would ever talk to him again. And he found out from my Instagram post. Like, I didn't even tell him in person. It was a screenshot from somebody else. I went through somebody else to how he found out. And I remember, like, my heart's beating so fast because I remember the email that he sent me. Out of the blue, he sent it to my high school email account. And I remember I like dropped to my knees. I was moving my entire life. I had just posted that I was a lesbian, and he sent me an email, and it was the most supportive and wholesome and like beautiful email I'd ever read. And it just like, it brought tears to my eyes. And it started what was about a year long of us rekindling our relationship and working through old stuff and setting new boundaries and getting to know each other as now like I'm an adult. And that was the biggest blessing in me coming out, or whatever timing in the universe like had in that, was bringing back my dad into my life. And he's been so supportive. My stepmom, my brother, they are so excited to meet my girlfriend in like 2 weeks.
That's so exciting.
They have been the most accepting, and I'm incredibly lucky. I realize that because not everyone gets that.
No, not at all.
Mhm.
That story of getting kicked out is so
Mhm.
common.
Yeah.
And even the story of like how your mom accepted it at first and was like
Mhm.
supportive, but then as soon as it becomes real, you
Right,
know,
when shit gets real, then
yes,
that's when
it's
you
like, oh,
start to
you
see
have a
people's
girlfriend because
true.
now they're thinking like, oh, wait, now
Yeah.
like, are they gonna marry this person? It's like, well,
Mhm.
maybe, mom. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
like the
like,
whole point.
maybe.
Like it's a relationship, but I
Yeah.
think when you just come out and say it, they just think like either it's a phase, and I think that's probably the big
Yeah.
reason why people
Mhm.
accept it first because they're like, oh, they'll like get out of it.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, this is who I
Yeah.
am. But that's really incredible that
Mhm.
it brought you and your dad together. You
It
just never
did.
know what life is gonna turn out
And if
like.
you would have told me, like, 5 years ago, especially, like, right before going to Miss USA, right after going to Miss USA, talking about that stuff, like, it's one of my biggest regrets is
Mhm.
saying that on national television.
Mm.
Um, if you would have told me that 5 years ago, that I would have had the relationship with my dad that I have today, like, I just wouldn't have believed you.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I'm so, so incredibly grateful that I do, that I have him.
Yeah. But
Mhm.
the thing about it too is, there's different seasons in your life.
For
So
sure.
not that you have to regret what you said because that was your
Mhm.
truth at the
At the
moment,
time, it
and
was my
that
truth.
changes and people
Mhm.
change. So now he's like probably one of the most supportive
He
people.
is. I
Um
talk to him all the time. I'm on,
yeah.
like, FaceTime, phone calls, everything. I just
Yeah.
yeah.
Yay, good for
Yeah.
you. Ah, that's so exciting. Oh, wow. I'm like my heart was beating fast
I
too. I
know,
was
like,
like,
I'm like, wow, when I talk
"Oh
about
my
it, it's
gosh." So, kinda going to you mentioned, like, how you came out as a bisexual at first to your mom
mhm.
because you just weren't you didn't wanna, like, make it as real, kind of.
Mhm.
So, when you were from, like, dating men to dating women, what's been the biggest adjustment or, like, the biggest change or difference?
Um, God, literally everything. Literally
You're like,
everything.
"Well, men are trash, so"
Men are trash. I mean that in the most loving way possible. The biggest difference, like, in all actuality, it's my, like, level of comfort with somebody. So, when I was dating men, I thought it was everyone's, like, general experience to be always on edge. Like,
Mm,
I had so much anxiety if I was going out on a date with someone, like, I'm just constantly in fear of something bad happening to me. But also when it came to sleeping with men, I have literally never had an enjoyable experience, not
mm,
once,
mhm.
and would spend time, like, in tears in the bathroom after it happened. I would feel so, like, disgusting and repulsed with just myself that I, like, was like, "Wow, like, I'm going to hell." All of these, like, things that the church tells you. I grew up Catholic too, so,
Mm,
like,
mhm.
all of these things that the church tells you about, like, being gay, being bad, like, that's how my mind worked when I was with a man.
Mm,
And that switch flipped when I started dating women, the level of, like, comfort and safety I was able to feel right off the bat with it just being a woman. I was like, "Okay." I didn't know that my nervous system could feel like this calm on a date with somebody. Like, yeah, I was still nervous. It took
yeah.
a man. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
a whole lot of nerves. But as I dated and got to know women that I was dating and, like, experience this new side of me, I was like, wow, I had no idea that I was in fight or flight when I was dating
Mm,
men the
mhm.
entire time. And I never ever once, like, truly felt comfortable, truly felt like myself
Right, and then
or
part of it, it's
safe.
like you think that you're supposed to
Mhm.
like, you think that the right way is like, "Oh, we're supposed to be dating men." So,
Right.
like, you're, like, kind of forcing yourself to, like, digest
Mhm.
this man because you're like
100%,
because you're
yeah.
like, "Oh, I'm supposed to do it. I'm supposed to enjoy it. My friends are enjoying their men, I guess."
I
And
know,
you're
yeah,
like,
that's
"What
why
is
I was like, "Is anybody actually enjoying this?"
Yeah.
Like, God, like, I don't know, I'm struggling over
Yeah.
here, and I would try like, it was so funny when I would, like, talk to my friends about these guys I was dating, and I would, like, try and try. You could tell I was trying to convince myself
Mhm.
that I
Yeah.
was enjoying it, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Ooh." But there was literally times where, like, I lived in this, like, house with a bunch of roommates, and there were times where I would leave the house with the man in my bed,
Yeah.
with a man in the house. He would sleep, and I would be like, "Bye."
I have
I'd
to
go
go.
sleep on a break room couch at Disneyland. I
Oh,
slept on a break room
wow.
couch
Mhm.
multiple times. I would just get in my car in the middle of the night and leave. I'd go to the gym. I would literally do anything. Like, one time, the dude fell asleep in my bed, and I was like, "I need you to leave."
Yeah.
And he just sat there and slept. And I was like, "All right, well then I'm gonna head out." I got in my car and I went to the gym, and it was like 4 o'clock in the morning. And then I went to Disneyland at like 7. My shift wasn't until 2, and I'm just
Yeah.
like hanging out at Disney. I'm like, I don't know.
You're just
He
trying to
comes
escape.
downstairs and asks my roommate, like, "Have you seen Alyssa?" And everyone's like, "No." No
She's
idea where the
gone.
fuck she is. Like, she's
You're
literally
escaping.
gone. I
Like,
was escaping these
escaping,
men.
trying to
Like,
escape men.
yes, actually, one of my favorite stories ever is I got nominated for The Bachelor.
Yes. Yep. And that was the like last. Well, there was a man that was we were at NAM judging.
Yes.
It was like all around that time, The Bachelor and all of
Yep.
that. Yes.
I was dating a guy who was on The Bachelorette
Yes.
and then was on Paradise.
Mhm.
That he was the final man.
The final rose.
He was the final rose. And I was like, yeah, no, I can't do this because I remember we spent Halloween together
Mhm.
and we went to this party. It was just like a really awkward night, and I slept over at his place, and I literally like slept like I was on a straitjacket, like hands like in between my legs, like legs crossed, literally side of the bed. Like,
You're like, don't touch me.
don't touch me. And then I just like laid there profusely sweating all night because I was so scared and nervous and whatever. And then like left the next morning. Like, why did I just not get up and leave? I just
Yeah.
like, I've got this thing where it's just like, I just don't want to make other people uncomfortable,
Mm.
yet I will be so uncomfortable. And that's what that night was. But yeah, I was dating him. He was the last one. And we kind of just like ghosted each other. I think that's how that happened. I
Yeah.
think that night happened and we were like,
Like he was probably also like, AK. What's
Probably.
going on? But that's like
Probably.
a prime example. Like you were like literally rejecting these men with your whole being.
My
Like you
whole
wanted to
body.
throw up. And when
Mhm.
people act like being gay is a choice in the sense of like
If it was a choice, I would choose to be gayer, first of all.
period.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like-
period. Like they act like it's a choice in the sense of like you can control it and like so you shouldn't be, you
Mhm.
know, but it's like your body tells you.
It
Like,
does. Your
like, you
body
think, like,
does tell you.
like,
And
tells
I
you.
tried so hard
Like you knew, you know.
to be straight, to be what society wanted.
Yeah.
And it literally just never worked. Not from the first boyfriend, not to the last one.
Yeah.
Nowhere
Ever.
in between did it ever work for me. I was like, I had men look me in the face and be like, "You're the one. I want to marry you. I'm so sure about you." And I'd be like, "Oh, that's sweet."
You're like, I don't know. So when did you feel like you knew that you were like, I like a girl? Were you a kid?
Yes, I was a kid. Like if you could have seen my search history.
Okay.
It's little.
Also, I will say though, I feel like that's so many girls search history. Like
Yes.
mine too. I was like, girls kissing.
Oh, girls
I was like, because I was just curious. Like, period.
Yeah, no, I knew from I was
That's
like
funny.
kissing girls in basements at
Oh, okay.
age like 7 or 8. Like I was
Yeah.
definitely
Oh, so you do. Yeah.
I knew. I just like I guess like growing up I didn't have any really representation, especially like femme lesbian representation, which like means so much to me now to be that representation because that's not something I saw growing up. If I
Mhm.
saw a lesbian growing up, especially in like the Midwest and Kansas, it was like very like butch,
Mhm.
very masculine presenting women, and I was like if that's what a lesbian is, I'm not that and I'm not
Yeah.
attracted to that. So I'm like not really sure. It just made me feel unseen or just like odd, honestly. But no, I knew from a very young age. I was actually in high school. I asked a girl to prom.
Oh, okay.
I promposed to this girl who this is like the classic, super stereotypical fell in love with my best friend type
Yeah.
situation in high school, very gay. She had a boyfriend and I promposed to her. We went to different schools, we worked together. She was gonna go to her prom with her boyfriend and then my prom with me, and then like it ended up falling apart right before prom happened. And then I ended up like needing to pivot. So I promposed to a guy.
Mm.
I just like to take things into my own hands.
Yeah,
I don't like to wait for nobody
period.
else. So I promposed to a guy who then we ended up being in a relationship for like a little bit. And we went to prom together. But that situation scared me back into the closet because I felt like I was ready to come out. She kind of told me that she was ready. And then she was like, wait, I don't think my parents are going to be okay with this. Also, she had a boyfriend. There was a whole lot of things. I actually deleted my Twitter over this girl. The reason I don't have a Twitter is because of this girl.
Wow.
Because if you would have gone to my Twitter, we had kissing pictures, holding hand pictures. It was very
you and your
obvious.
friend.
Yeah, me and my friend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was super obvious to anyone who
Oh,
was paying attention, which
okay.
apparently nobody was. And I deleted my Twitter over her after we ended up not going to prom. I ended up going with this guy, ended up just dating him because like that's what you did.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was just scared in the closet for another 4 years. And I was in a relationship in college with this guy. We were living together. And I woke up one day after having a dream about a woman. And I looked at this man next to me in bed and I was like, I cannot do this.
I can't.
I literally cannot do this
Yeah.
anymore. I can't lie to you. I can't lie to me. Like, I cannot lie. I just can't. So I went home, gave it like a week to think about it. I went back to LA. His mother picked me up from LAX, and I knew I was going to dump him that day. I had my re-eval audition at Disneyland that day.
Oh my gosh.
So that was the only reason I was flying in. Meanwhile, like, I live with this dude.
Yeah.
I get in this car with his mother, and I'm like, she's asking me all these questions about my trip, and I'm trying to be like, oh, great, this is also, I'm about to break your son's heart. Like, literally
Yeah.
about to just rip it out. I'm so sorry. But then he insisted on driving me to my re-eval at Disneyland, and I didn't say a word to him in the car on the way there. He picks me up, and I'm not saying a word on the way back, and he finally is just like, what is wrong? And I just looked at him on the 91 freeway, and I was like, I cannot do this anymore. I thought he was
Not
going
the
to crash the car.
91.
Not the 91.
Not the 91.
Not the 91. We were about to call 911 because he was going to crash the car. And I was just like, I cannot do this anymore. And this is my like trauma response. I profusely sweat. But yeah, I was just like, I can't tell him. I don't want to rip his heart out like that hard. And literally took my shit that night.
Wow.
I was out.
And gone.
I was gone.
Never looked back.
Mm-mm.
So you and your best friend at the not proposed to you, but promposal
too. Yes.
Did she like you too?
I thought so.
Right. Okay.
Goddamn. Like, I thought.
Was she cheating with you? With her man? From her man, right?
She's still with that boy, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay. Because my follow-up question was, did she know that you were asking her to prom because you liked her in that way?
Yeah, I
So
mean,
she
literally
did know,
the promposal. I got, this is so cheesy. I got a Buffalo Wild Wings, and I wrote on the inside of the wing order, I said, I've never done this before, so I'm just gonna wing it. Prom.
Wait, that's good. That's like a good dad joke.
I do be hitting people with the dad joke. Yeah. I'm a dad joke girl. Yeah, I mean, I thought she liked me back, and it was just a weird time.
Yeah.
We were watching like Orange is the New Black together alone, like in a darkened room.
Yeah. Oh, Orange is the New Black. Yep, that'll do it.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Wow.
So yeah.
Okay, so you already knew.
No, I did.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you kind of briefly touched through this, but like, so was there a time where you wanted to come out, but then you're like, oh, it's just not the right timing? Was that during their pageant experience?
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
I wanted to come out so bad before Miss Earth USA, and literally everybody was like, no. But what is so interesting when I do talk openly about like my journey and stuff, I don't even remember this period of time, but when I was Miss Earth teen, like way back in 2015, I was very open with the contestants during that time about my sexuality. And I was telling people back in that time that I was bisexual. And it was never something that I had said publicly. It was never something I posted online, but I was like having one-on-one conversations with people about my sexuality. But like, those memories aren't even mine. Like, those are from girls who have come to me and been like, hey, I remember having this conversation with you. You made me feel so seen, or like you made me feel so hurt, or whatever. And like, I don't even remember saying some of those things to those people. And it's like beautiful to be able to receive like those memories from someone else, for conversations I've been a part of. But yeah, I really wanted to come out, and people just said, no, it's like not the right time. You have so much other, stuff. Like, I was a real contender to win. And so like people were just, I think, afraid of tainting any of it. Which is a bummer, because I think I would have had a much more enjoyable experience had I been able to go and just been myself and been out. I like had a horrible experience at that pageant. Like, won't ever compete again because of it.
Yeah.
And I remember my roommate was Emma Loney.
Yeah,
Queen icon.
Queen.
And she asked me when we got to the pageant, because I was super upfront with her about my sexuality and everything. I was like, I just like want to be transparent, whatever. We were friends. And she asked me, she was like, have you ever competed at a pageant and like been interested, like romantically or intimately attracted to like anyone else in the pageant? And no one had ever asked me that question before. And it was a really good question. And I was like, I sat there and I was like, honestly, no, because when I'm competing in a pageant, like, I put in the work, I put in the money, I put in the time. Like, I'm here to compete. I'm here to win. or do what I came here to do.
Right.
And, like, leaving with a girlfriend is not what I came here to do.
Right.
So,
So you're not even
no.
thinking, like, about
No.
that,
But
right.
do I watch Miss Universe now, Miss USA now, and I'm like, "That's a baddie." Like, yeah, of
Mhm.
course. But I was always like that to a
Yeah.
degree.
Mhm.
Like, yeah.
And also kind of I remember Rachel, she was,
Mhm.
like, the first openly
Yes.
queer person at
Yeah.
Miss USA during my class, and she, like, jokingly wrote in our, like, Facebook wall,
Mhm.
she was like, "Hey, y'all, anyone gonna be nervous if we're in the same dressing room?" Like, just being like
I was nervous about that.
and of course, we were all like, "Girl, bye, no one cares about
You're
this."
fine.
But it
No.
also kinda, like, plays into this idea where I think people have this, concept that people in this community are only thinking about sex or
Yeah.
thinking of,
Oh
like,
my God.
being sexualized.
Yeah.
So it's like and that was not saying, like, that question, that's a valid question. No one's ever
Mhm.
asked you that if you were interested in someone you competed with, but
Mhm.
people might think because you did a pageant, you were lusting over all these women. It's like, no, sis, just like you
No.
don't go outside and lust over all these men,
Right.
you don't go lust over all these women just because there's 50 gorgeous women around
Just because
you.
I'm surrounded by gorgeous women doesn't mean, like,
You're not trying to hump everything
No.
walking. Like, that I
I
think that's, like,
know,
the
like,
craziest
damn.
concept.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
I think people have this misconception about just queer people in general that it's, like, all so sexualized.
Mhm.
When it's not. Like, you don't walk up to a straight couple that's holding hands on the street and immediately, like, ask them what they're doing in the bedroom. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
Mhm.
people have this idea in their head of, like, what the queer experience is because they've not, A, been exposed to probably anyone in their life that they've been able to, like, have these kinds of conversations with, and B, maybe some people just they don't want to accept
Yeah.
that
That's really
there
what
can
it
be
is. Yeah.
genuine relationships
Mhm.
between two women, two men, transgender individuals. Like, people just don't want to accept
No,
it.
because the whole
Sadly.
point, they want to dehumanize it and demonize
Mhm.
it. So the only way to do that is by making it seem like it's only something that's for
Yeah.
sex. So
Mhm.
then they can say what they want to say. But
Mhm.
have you found it a little difficult because how you present yourself, of like how you look and being very feminine, and then if your
Yeah.
girlfriend is feminine as well, like do people sexualize your relationship a lot?
100%. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Like
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I mean, I feel like that's the default,
Mhm.
honestly. Especially as feminine and presenting as I am,
Mhm.
I deal with that all of the time. And it's usually men, I would say 9 times out of 10. Like, it can happen with
Mhm.
women too, but 9 times out of 10 it's with men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because you know the lies, like if someone try to hits you up at a club or something, and I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, this is my girlfriend, like my best friend or something, because I don't
Mhm.
want you to talk to me. And the man's like, well, kiss.
You will
What?
kiss or like, "Oh, prove it."
Yeah.
Mhm.
So do you both get that too?
We have,
Yeah.
yes, especially online. Oh my God, like on TikTok and stuff.
Yeah.
There's like someone commenting on my TikToks about me kissing girls and like me wearing a skirt. I'm not sure what the connection there is, but it's something
They want you to wear a skirt and then
and
kiss
kiss
girls.
girls.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I mean,
You're like,
same.
yeah. You're like, yeah, everyone wants to see that,
I
obviously.
do want to wear a skirt and kiss girls.
Yeah, that's so funny. But yeah, it's just like this whole sexualization of
Yeah.
the community, which is the saddest part, I think, because I'm like, just like you're having a genuine relationship, so is
Mhm.
everybody.
So yeah, like
everyone
it's no different than your genuine relationship with
Mhm.
Alex.
Yeah,
Like, it
no
is
different.
literally no different.
hmm
Like, that's a woman that I'm in love with. That's a woman I want to marry. Like, there is no reason that I should be treated any differently for feeling that way towards a woman
hmm
than if I were feeling that way towards a man.
Yeah. So, girlfriend,
Hey,
let's talk about her.
let's talk
How
about
did you
her.
meet?
Oh my God. Okay, so this story is my favorite because she slid into my DMs on TikTok, like straight up. I
Ooh,
thirst trapped her.
yeah.
I
Oh,
thirst trapped her and she slid into my
what
DMs.
video did you
Honestly,
post?
I can't remember it. We went through my account to like look. I can't remember which one it
Yeah.
was, but she like showed me which one it was. But I slid in with the most dad pickup line. It's very on brand for me. I had like a very dad pickup line. I think I said, "You are so fine. You made me forget my pickup line."
Ooh,
Ooh.
that got her.
It got her. I don't
Yeah.
know. Shit. It was the thirst trap and the dad joke. Like,
Yeah,
really, that
she's
was
like, I'm in
it.
love.
Match made in heaven. But what is really funny is we were on a TikTok live the very first time I was ever in Portland hanging out with her. We were on a TikTok live and people were asking us how we met, and we were like, "Oh, this is like lame. Do we talk
Yeah.
about this?" And so we were like, "What do you you want to make up a story? Like, how do you think we met?
Yeah.
And so everyone on TikTok Live decided that we met at the circus, which is cute because Vega actually like trained to be a circus performer
Oh,
at one
wow.
point in her life. She's had so many layers of her life. I'm like so
Yeah.
in love with how many layers this woman has. But yeah, so we either tell people that we met at the circus if we're not feeling like explaining the whole TikTok thing, but we really did meet on TikTok.
That's so
Yeah.
cute.
And so then I think TikTok, rightfully so, should be sponsoring our wedding.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
then meeting someone online is so common. Like,
yeah,
I'm like,
especially after COVID.
yeah, I don't
like,
think that's a taboo thing anymore of
Mm-mm.
people like, oh, don't want to tell that story. That's
No.
super cute.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I know you guys go on live.
we do.
Yeah. So do you do that like every time she's here or something?
Yeah, we do lives together when she's here. Well, like it's really cute because we are long distance. We'll
Mhm.
do lives like split screen. So I'm live
Oh,
from Long Beach, she's
cute.
live from Portland, and it's like essentially a FaceTime date, but we're like
Yeah.
sharing it with the entire community. And it's like super
Aw,
cute. And we've got a
yeah.
lot of people who are regulars who will come and hang out with us. We'll do like cooking, and one time I caught a pizza on fire, like on TikTok Live. Like there was
Yeah.
a fire in my kitchen.
TikTok's like
real
flagged.
fire flagged. But then one time we did a live, and all of these people, we had like 2 million likes on this live,
Mhm.
and we were feeling spicy.
Yeah.
And all these people were like, kiss, kiss, kiss. And we were like, okay, we get to 2 million likes. I said, like, you have 10 minutes to get us to 2 million likes. We're at like 1 million something. They did it. And so we kissed for 30 seconds on TikTok Live, and then Vega got banned.
You can't
Literally-
kiss on TikTok Live.
Apparently not like that or whatever.
Mm.
I got her banned. We together
Yeah.
did that. And then she had to it spent weeks trying to get her account back. We finally got
Oh
her
my
account
gosh.
back.
But
yeah,
when she
we,
gets
like-
it back, it has the same followers and all the videos are
It
still there?
did, yes.
Okay.
Thank God, because yeah, the account was gone, and I felt so bad because I was like, she had been like building it up, and we were like really excited about it, and then all of a sudden it was gone, and I was like, oh shit, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
But no, we got it back. She's got a backup account now, and we do lives. I think we're actually gonna do one tonight, but yeah.
Oh, fun. Okay, I'm gonna try to tune in for that
Yeah,
one.
you
Yes,
should.
yes. I'm like, hey. So before we started recording, you were
Mhm.
raving about how you are just so giddy and in love with this girl. So
I'm like such a tomato.
yeah.
Oh my
So
God,
tell
I
me
feel
about
this
that,
way.
and then also kind of what you've learned from like your past relationships
Mhm.
to this one that makes you like sure about this one.
Oh my God. Okay. Like I feel like I just literally turn red when I said talk about her and think about her. How do I know she's the one? Like there is an undeniable feeling like so deep within my core that I don't want to spend another day the rest of my life without her. I want to do everything with her. I want to travel the world with her. I like want to experience life with her. I want to be there in the good days, the bad days, the healthy days, the sick days, like all of the like super mushy gushy love things. And the biggest difference in knowing for a fact in my gut that this is like the person that I want to spend the rest of my life with is just the way that I feel with her. It's completely different than I've ever felt with anyone, including like same-sex
Mhm.
relationships that I've been in. I don't know how to explain it, but when people growing up said like when you know, you know,
Mhm.
I thought people were full of shit.
You're right.
First of all, I was like,
Mhm.
I thought there was something wrong with me
Mm.
because I've been in long-term relationships with both men and women. And I've had people look me in the eyes and say, I'm sure about you. Like, you're the one. And I have been like, brick wall. Like, no. I'm really glad that you feel that way. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to break your heart someday because I don't feel that way. There was just something like in my gut when people say like trust your gut. I 1000% agree because every single situation and relationship I've been in, aside from this one, my gut has been like, hell no.
Mhm.
And if it's not a hell no, or if it's not a hell yes, then it's a hell no.
Yeah.
And like my gut right now is telling me hell yes.
Yay.
And so we're going to listen to her. We're listening to her.
Yes, as you should. Because
Yes.
like we were saying, life is short.
Life is so short.
Yeah.
And like when people, I don't know, like close themselves off from like love and creating connection and like loving someone and being loved, like I feel bad for those people because life is so short. Like I want to feel love. I want to give my love in the most like full capacity that I possibly can while I'm here on this planet.
Yeah.
So
oh, she's gonna be all
Yeah,
gushy when she
I know.
listens. Like
I'm gonna be all good.
she loves me.
She loves me.
Ah, so cute.
She do love
She
you.
do. And so you recently, I think it was today or yesterday, you
Mhm.
made a TikTok about how you are U-hauling your relationship And first of all, can you explain to the viewers what that means?
Yes, of course. So I did not realize that like outside of the queer community, people have no idea what I'm talking
Yeah.
about when I say I'm gonna U-Haul with her. U-hauling is a term when it's typically used for lesbians when you are going to move in together. So either it's like long distance or it's not, and you are just like immediately packing it up.
Like very
Pack up the
quickly.
dog, like move, get the
Yeah.
U-Haul. U-Haul should absolutely like sponsor every like lesbian couple to
That'd be
move
such a
in
good
together
commercial
because
for
we
U-Haul.
literally give free advertising. But yes, I do be U-Hauling
Yeah.
my ass to Portland.
She's leaving Cali.
I
It's official now.
said it on the podcast.
He said it on the
I
podcast.
have to do it.
It has to happen.
I have to do it now.
So are you excited for this
I'm
new
so
journey?
excited. Dude, I feel like so like I'm sure everyone feels this way too, but like when you look back on your life and all the different chapters that you've had in your life, I feel like I've had a really freaking amazing chapter in LA.
Mhm.
And the other thing too that was really nice about our like living situation is like she is open to coming here just as I was open to going to
Mhm.
Portland. And it was just it kind of like organically happened that I was like, like there's really nothing tying me to LA, at least like at this moment,
Yeah.
that I feel like I have to be here physically for. So like let's start a new chapter.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And what you both do of like what you want to
Mhm.
continue doing and to continue to grow doing is social media.
Yeah.
And content creation, which you can, as we know, can do it from anywhere.
Do it from
So,
anywhere.
yeah,
Yeah.
you guys can be traveling the world
Yes,
together.
that's the goal. I really do want to be able to highlight like destinations around the planet that are queer friendly, where you're
Mm.
able to travel to together, because like that's not something a lot of, I would say, probably like straight individuals even have to really think about.
Yeah,
Is
totally.
when I travel to another part of the world, is my relationship illegal there? What is it punishable by?
Yeah,
Like
can you hold
lots of times,
hands
can you
or-
hold hands? Can you kiss? Like, is there like what does that look like in other parts of the world? Because it's punishable by death still in some countries.
Mhm.
And I think that it would be incredible to be able to be like not only the femme representation that I needed growing up, but also being like a couple that gets to travel, gets
Yeah.
to experience that and like share that with other queer people
Mhm.
and show cool places that we can still go and feel safe
Yeah.
and experience.
And it's such a cool angle too,
Yeah.
because it kind of niches you down.
Mhm.
Because of course you can do fun TikToks, cooking
Yeah.
together, get ready with me, of course. But
Yeah.
you guys have this home base of like still trying to make a difference, which I think would
Mhm.
be unique compared to other. I mean, social media is so saturated, so you
Yeah.
gotta find like that
You
little
do. You have to
something.
find
So
that like
is
little
so-
something that makes you stand
That is
out.
cute. Oh, you guys are
Yeah.
gonna make it big
I
time.
know
I
we
can see it
will.
already
I know
because
we
you
will.
guys are fine as hell together. Like truly, I'm like,
Thank you, dude.
They hella cute.
The amount of times that we've like gotten stopped,
Oh my
both in Portland and in LA. Like we thought, like maybe it's like a Portland thing. Like I don't know, maybe people are just more keen to saying something or just
Mhm.
nicer or whatever. Like I mean, LA is known people for being like
Yeah.
LA. The amount of times we got stopped at WeHo Pride.
Oh yes, I'm sure. Everyone's like,
They were like,
Gorge.
it's not even fair. Like what the and we are just like, what the heck? Like we didn't expect this.
Mhm.
I mean, I think we're fine as hell.
Yeah,
together. We were
absolutely.
super hot. So
Super hot. Yeah. And you guys have like similar energies when
Yeah.
it comes to like style and it's like a little bit dark.
I know, I do. I like love our style together, but also
Yeah.
like if she's like a little like darker, then like I'm like a little bright. Like it's
Yeah.
like the way we balance each other is
Mhm.
really cute. I really like
Yeah,
it.
and you guys both like kind of have equal like feminine and masculinity
Yeah.
as well. So it's a cool
Yeah.
dynamic because a lot of times it's either
It's cool.
one or the other.
Mhm.
But so I think that's
No, we
what-
can both like
yeah.
truly do both.
Yeah,
which
so
is
I'm
really
like,
fun.
okay,
It is spicy. It's fun.
cute. You
Yeah.
said spicy?
It's spicy.
It's spicy. Ah, slay. Okay. So kind of going backwards, like our little last segment, you talked about how you're a political science major.
Mhm.
So, and I've always known you to like know what's going on in our country, and also because of
Oh, yeah,
pageantry
yes,
too,
yeah.
just because we kind of have to stay up to date with
Mhm.
everything. Or we did when we were competing,
We did.
which we still should, but sometimes
I
I'm like,
still do, but sometimes
it's overwhelming. I'm like, I don't
It's
know.
overwhelming, yeah.
But just kind of like how do you feel when you're watching the news or like legislation and laws that are
Scared.
trying to be passed? Yeah, like
scared as fuck.
it's like what are you supposed to
I want to leave this country.
Right.
Like 100%. Like there's really, I mean, in my like brain, there's no other option for me.
Mhm.
Unless there is substantial change, which like this country seems to be going backwards.
Mhm.
So I don't even know if that is like truly going to happen in the next 5 to 10 to 15 years.
Mhm.
What our country's going to end up looking like. Like I remember on my first date with Vega, I am usually the one that drops the like I want to move out of the country ball when
Mhm.
it comes to dating. And every experience I've had other than her, they've all been like, oh, like I'm really married to staying here. And I'm like, okay, well then you're not for me because I want to leave. And I did not say anything to her about it on our first date. And she brought it up. She was like, yeah, like, I mean, she was born and raised in Colombia. Like, she's lived in Miami and Argentina and Portland.
Okay.
Like, she wants to leave the US. And
Yeah.
I, like, was, like, letting her talk. And I was just like, oh my God.
Yes.
Finally. Finally, because I don't see myself, like, staying here forever.
Right. I mean, it's scary. And what's
It's
so
scary.
cool that since you guys are going to be traveling, doing content, you'll find the places that
The
you're
perfect
like, oh,
place,
this is
I'm
like
sure.
where I feel accepted, loved, not trying to get banned from anything. 'cause
Yeah,
here is
yes.
insane.
Yes,
I mean, there's
everyone
like
here can come along on the journey as we figure that out because that's what we'll be doing.
What is the next for Miss Alyssa?
What is next? Aside from this big ass move that I'm going to do, I do have some cool things that I can't talk about yet.
Okay. Well, stay tuned.
But stay tuned for that. But right now, focusing on moving, being with my girlfriend.
Yeah. That's such a big chapter. So.
Yeah, I'm like really excited to start that chapter. I'm just really excited to like go experience a new city. It's almost like it's as equally exciting as it is terrifying because the last time I did this big of a move and did this big of a jump was when I came from Kansas to LA, and that was 8 years ago. So like, definitely like some days I'm like super excited, like yes, like let's go, like let me pick up my stuff right now. And then some days when I sit and think about it, I'm like, oh my God, like I'm gonna leave everything I know and everything I've like built and everything here, and that's scary, but it's also exhilarating. It's really exciting.
And I think you'll like Portland.
I think
because I grew up in Washington, so it's like 2-hour drive. So I spent a lot of time in Oregon, and it's really nice.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah,
I had no idea. Actually, Imani, the first time I went to go visit her, I had no idea where Oregon even was on the US map. Like I was on the airplane and I was like, maybe I should like zoom out on the map and see where I'm going. Like the most like lesbian shit ever. I'm like, I'm on a plane to go see a girl. I have no idea where I'm even going.
Because you knew it was love.
No, I knew.
Yeah. Your hair's going to really stand out because it's super gloomy. So you're just going to be like a baddie.
Red hair.
Yeah.
Somebody stopped me on the street the other day and asked me if this was my natural hair. And sometimes I say yes, but in that instance, I was like, no. And he goes, oh, that's a shame.
That's so funny. Okay, so what's next? She's going to move. She's going to do content creation. She's going to be a star. She'll let us know about the projects coming up that she can't talk about yet. All the brand deals that are coming your way, all of that. So to send it all off, do you have a message that you'd want to say to people that are feeling like they don't want to come out, they're scared with what's everything going on in our society that's trash? Just any last things that you want to say to someone that's listening?
To anyone that's listening now, and advice that I would have given myself when I was closeted when I was younger is to not put too much pressure on yourself. Everything will happen in its own time, and don't feel the pressure. Like if you are not in a safe situation that you can't come out right away, don't feel pressured to come out right away. Just give yourself grace, be able to learn and love yourself because the community is willing and so ready to accept you and love you just the same.
I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being on the podcast, telling us your story.
Yeah, of course.
I'm so proud of you and everything that you're going to continue to accomplish and be who you are, y'all. Slay the day away. Slay. Happy Pride, everyone. Happy Pride all year round, not just June, but we're celebrating in this month.
Protect trans kids.
Yes, absolutely. And stay aware of what's going on in our society and make that change. It takes all of us, whether you're in the community or you're an ally. We all have to come together and make that change. So 100%. Yes, thank you guys for listening and watching this episode. Thank you, Alyssa, for joining me today. And I will see y'all next week. Don't be homophobic. It's weird. Bye.
Bye.
Hello, dear Imani.